All right, guys, we're back with some more Sword of Convallaria, and man, we got quite a bit to get into. There's a lot of content that I did not expect this game to have, and it has actually been a blast. So we're gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna update you guys on where exactly I'm at. Now, as far as the account development that I have, what I've invested in, what I've been building, as you can see, I've built about 6 units at this point, and they're all around level 24. Now, my goal is to try to get to level 25 because that's when I'm going to be able to unlock the next skill-based node on the characters. Oh, wrong one. It's actually going to be this one right here. So all of my characters are sitting at level or node 4, I should say. Once we get to 5, we'll be able to unlock another skill for the units, picking one of the 2. And that's going to be pretty massive to developing the character and making them much more stronger. Now, outside of that, like I said, levels 24. As far as like gearing, I've just been working with what I got. I have done a little bit more investment in to my gear. So I got this level 20 gold piece on, level 10 on the silver necklace. And that's kind of like the general consensus with most of my units. I will say it is a little bit of a more pricey resource to kind of, I would say invest into a piece of gear, but you are able to get that resource, I would say pretty respectively. It's just a matter of doing the content. So there's a lot of different things that I have to still farm for me to be able to realistically level up my pieces properly, but it is a doable thing, right? Now, this is my Leonid. That's my Masha. Of course, my mage here. Actually have a few pieces on her, and like I said, it's just kind of the same thing. This is like one of my movement characters. This dude actually has like crazy evasion, so it makes it like impossible for an enemy to hit him, so he can kind of be used to aggro people for just simply making them waste their hits so that they're not focused on someone else if you're trying to 1v1 or you're trying to kill something else first. Like, this dude is just absolutely amazing. I really do like him a lot for my play style. And then one thing I will say a lot of people are going to need is a pure healer. So this chick right here, I actually have her built slightly different. So she doesn't just like purely heal. She also is able to attack buff as well. So combination single target healing, as well as then, if she needs to use her single target ability, she can do some damage, which is nice. But she also can buff my other units so that they can do more damage too. So really helpful. And I feel like it's going to be one of those units that a lot of people can get. So not going to be crazy. Now, this is one of the few units that I was able to actually get, the only unit I was able to actually get to 5-star. And this is just from max duping, right? Like 100% max duping the unit. Extremely lucky, I would say, considering, how early it is in the game for me. And what I will say too is that you will need the 6 unit because of PvP. Yes, this game has PvP, so we're going to be getting into that. But real quick, let's go back and we're going to jump into it so you guys can see. Now we're going to get into the map or to the fight so I can kind of explain a few different things. The PvP is actually really fun, and it really does give you some accessibility to how you can potentially lay out and customize your map, right? So this map right here, technically we're on someone else's map and we're attacking them. So yes, defensive pillars you can set in this, statues, like kind of like things that will, prevent the enemy. Like if they destroy these, they will like obviously ultimately beat you, and you're trying to defend these things. And there's a couple of other things you can lay down, like flags. It's just so much more. So I'll have a video kind of being a little bit more of a deeper dive into that, but just kind of know that this does get a little bit more expansive than just like, hey, let's take turns and kill each other. Like, there are going to be some objectives and things you might want to get rid of, especially as people get stronger and their defensive capabilities get better as well. Now with that, we got our 6 laid out, so we're just going to go ahead and hit that attack here. And we're just going to auto it all the way. Now, you might notice here at the top, there's this 100 orbs. That's going to be for essentially everything that you kill, right? So between the monuments or the defensive towers that you're blowing up and the statues that you go and you destroy as well. So the objective here is essentially to try to obviously kill your opponent, but you also want to take down these like defensive towers because you'll see in a moment that they will hit you. So before I speed it up, I'll let it actually charge up and hit me. So there you go. Actually, my mage went and killed one of them. This one should get a hit off. So yeah, right there. Now, if that was stronger, and obviously if I was weaker, that would have did way more damage. But this person is weaker to me. And this is just so that I could show you guys just some of the mechanics and some of the things you'll be doing. So I got my Frost Mage going off. Like, this dude is just so freaking good. So here we go. He put his evasion buff on. Let's get them out of here. Yeah, so right there, yeah, he's a little bit weaker. I don't have like too much invested in him in comparison to everyone else, aside of the fact that he's just fully duped. So let's see here. Leonid should be doing some damage here. Get him out. And then very last monument is gone. And keep in mind, when you destroy those things, really any of the, like I would say fixtures here, you are going to be gaining the orbs, which is going to be necessary for the milestone bar that they have, which I'll show you guys that after this fight. So boom, there we go. We got some more orbs from that. Hey, I just realized he one-tapped that. Okay, there we go. We got rid of their healer. And then now we are coming to a close. I think the very last statue is up this hill here. And this is why I bring him, because he can move really, really fast and really, really far. So he ends the fight a lot quicker. Then, as you can see, the rest of the team is still trying to work their way up the hill. He's already up there and already finished it, right? So that's the fight. Like, the dude is absolutely amazing. And yes, there is going to be some strategy to the comps and things that you are going to be establishing and using. So it's actually like really fun, especially when you're fighting much harder teams, and you really have to think strategically about what you're going to take out first, right? So that's pretty much that as far as like PvP goes. Like I said, it gets more expansive, but you are capped to, I think, to 300 orbs a day. But you are able to take these orbs. There is a shop here where you're able to take these orbs and you're able to buy different things. Like I said, monuments, all this other stuff, traps, fixtures to block off certain, sections to force someone to, aggro into a certain character. Like, there's so many different things that you can do to make this more of a defensive, fortress for yourself. So it is like really, really well done PvP, I feel like, in my opinion. Now, aside of that, you have, like I said before, the milestone bar, where you're able to get some really, really solid resources to build your gear up, to, further invest into your units. And then, of course, we'll go ahead and collect that real quick. You're also able to get like random pieces of gear from doing PvP. So yes, doing PvP is going to be quite necessary, I feel like, personally, because it is going to allow you to get some additional resources to help you within this game. And I will say, they do not seem shy to hand out resources in this game. As long as you're playing the content, they're giving resources, which is kind of nice, right? Now let's actually go to some of the other pieces of content that I've actually unlocked. And we'll go right over here. Now, this is, again, kind of interesting. So for the most part, when you first start out, you're collecting the EXP from, just doing the story nodes. But it gets to a point where it's not going to be giving you that much. So you will have to jump in and start doing the nodes for the EXP dungeon. So this is where you'll be able to do so. I'm currently on stage 4, got 2 more to go. So I'm about to hit that level 25, and that's going to unlock that. Then I'll be able to farm an even higher increment. But I still need to do this one before I do that. So there's the EXP dungeon here. Again, they also have a dungeon here for, and this is the resource to not only level up your gear, but it's also to limit break your gear. So these gray stones here are going to help you limit break your gear. These gold, sand, or grindstones here are going to help you level your gear, right? So again, there is a gear EXP dungeon, I guess if you want to call it that. The next thing they have is actually going to be for your talent EXP. So you'll obviously pick the respective dungeon for the specific talents that you're going to be working on. And then they'll have that resource dropping here as well. So it is a lot to actually farm, right? And then, of course, one of the things that I'm like super hyped to go and do is going to be the tower. So they do have a tower for you to actually climb. And yes, it is going to be a whole slew of different strategies on these floors. There are going to be different rewards. Like, there's some pretty massive rewards you're going to be getting from this as well. So it's a little bit more, that goes into this and the mechanics of it. So I will probably have a separate video as I'm climbing it, but just know that there is going to be what I would consider expansive tower mode for you to actually do as well. So they really honestly have covered a good generalized basis of content for a game that, is gonna, especially for the start of it, this is really, really good amounts of content, right? Now, outside of that, there's a couple of other things that I still need to unlock. This is actually going to be for shards of your character. So you are going to be able to farm this. This is going to help you with investing in getting their base. I think it's like their special abilities and stuff like that up. So you are going to want to do this at some point, but again, it does cost a crazy amount of stamina. So you probably won't be doing this right away, but it will be something you want to get to at some point. And then the next thing I unlock after I clear chapter 2 and then chapter 3. So 2 more pieces of content I'll probably showcase in another, video. But again, we did unlock quite a bit compared to the first video. We only had one thing unlocked in the first video. Now, of course, with this game mode here, just to kind of further touch on what this is kind of like the conquest / story mode. It's really, really expansive. And what I mean by that, and I'll show you guys what this looks like, is not only is there obviously the war room, as I call it, so you get your storybook here. You also have this right here, which is a kind of like a warpath, if you want to call it that. So you're able to pick different destinations and attack. But these are going to be destinations that are going to be giving you resources specifically necessary for you to be able to be successful in this conquest mode. Now, in this mode, you are going to have I don't want to necessarily say just a different set of characters, but your characters aren't going to necessarily be exactly the characters that you're using for story and the other portions of PvE content in the game. So if we go back here, we actually click on our usable characters, you'll notice that my roster is completely different. And it's only consisting of, because in the very beginning, they let you pick, I think, 2 or 3 characters that you actually have on your account. And then the rest of these characters are units that you unlock during and while you're doing the conquest mode. Now, the difference between how these units operate in regular content versus this content is that every character has a energy amount above their head. And when that amount hits 0, you have to put them inside of its respective, I think there's a cathedral where you can restore energy for the characters. So it's things of that nature. I think either even leveling up also helps you restore some energy to some of these characters as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you go about it, but utilizing a character in a fight actually consumes some of this energy that they have. And so, as you're going, you're going to have to constantly be, following the, I would say kind of the checkpoints to, restore, follow story, unlock the next Warpath destination. Now, outside of that, you also have the town here. It's all lit up. But again, you have the barracks to train units. You have, like I said, I think it's the cathedral or the nursing spot for healing people. You obviously have the tavern here. You got a few different things that you can go to. And all of these are going to have not only story components attached to them, but also elements to help you develop, your entire, I would say, kind of kingdom in a way in this game mode, right? So really, really, really well thought out. Really like what they did with it. I really, really do. So again, you can see all the resources that you're collecting and what you're able to do. Again, you're going to need these resources because there is going to be a blacksmith for you to be able to make more things to make yourself stronger in this game mode. So it's a lot that goes into this. It's really, really freaking fun. And it's something, outside of just following a path and just doing story. It's actually some intent behind it. And it's just its own kind of thing, right? So it's really, really, really well thought out. So that's going to be pretty much that for this video, guys, as far as my account update, where I'm at, and some other portions of content that I've unlocked. I think that this video was actually pretty important because, again, we got to see that there's other things outside of just PvE stuff. We got PvP, and even in the PvE stuff, there's just more to do than just, grinding and building up units. You have some pretty, I would say, expansive things that's really going to be nice for players to be able to dive into going into the global launch. So I know a lot of you guys can't wait for that. I know I damn sure enough can't wait for that. So really, really, really getting close to to the information time period. So that's going to be pretty much that, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely stay blessed. And yeah, stay charged up.